let's just get everything set back up again. Panel state load. And we will go cold and dark on the GPU. And I'm actually just going to edit this to... I wonder, can I bring this up? Whoop. There we go. And then just set that to precision. Okay, so first time back in a long while. It's like been 3 or 4 months. Let me just go outside here. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. So I'm gonna get back into it. I'm gonna try anyway, and I'm gonna start trying to fly on VATSIM. Yeah, it's been something I suppose I've been putting off for a little while, so yeah, gonna get into it. So yeah, might be a bit rusty. This might be a bit of a trial flight. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put it up. And as far as I can tell, there's no controllers online in Sydney at the moment, so I'm gonna do Sydney to Melbourne. First time flying this route as well, so it'll be interesting. And yeah, but I suppose in the usual fashion, let's just kick it off. This is some music actually bought from a guy I found him on Instagram. GWiz, I think is his username, but he's got some pretty sick backing tracks and stuff like that. So yeah, if you have some time, go check out his stuff. It's very cool. Gotta support those independent artists and stuff. So sorry, there are cameras all over the shop. I'm just getting some notes here and getting things set up. And one thing I actually probably didn't grab, what I should have, is a pen and paper. But let me get a few things set up here in the meantime as I do that, because I probably haven't signed into this in a while. Will this work? And it will. Interesting. So I'll go import my flight. And yeah, we are velocity 870 today. Departing at 110 Zulu. So that's our route today. So just before we do all of that, what I might do is just see if I can get GSX working. There's been a lot of updates to GSX since I've actually last been playing. So I said cold and dark GPU, so do we have a GPU available? We do. Let's get that on. Here we go. So ground power available. Let's actually get rid of everything here on the bus. Not on the bus, sorry, get rid of all of the buses. Stairs we can get rid of. That's actually kind of it really, isn't it? Chocks are set. That's good. So do we have the parking brake set? We do. Set now. Yeah, okay, parking brake is set. And everything else is on. That's not on. So I'm just gonna go and get this set up, I suppose, while we wait then for everything else, and I can go and grab a pen and paper while this is all spooling up. So parking brake is set. Battery standby power. Track IR is kind of doing a little bit of a thing there. Ground power is connected. Lights as required, so we'll chuck the wheel well lights on. Get the hydraulic pumps on as well, the electrical hydraulic pumps. Strobes and steadies, they will come off. Anti-collision, wing well lights, that's all good. IRS set to nav. And there we go. Some flickering here going on with the mouse, which is a little bit funny, but okay. Aligning. Skip the warning, caution, fire test stuff, all that type of jazz. The electrical hydraulic pumps are on, yaw damper on, and extinguished window heats are. Yeah, this is a bit funky. This button doesn't seem to be clicking. I don't know what that is. Electrical yaw damper window heats, left aft fuel pump. We'll leave that off for the moment. And the APU, next step is the APU to start. So we'll leave that for the moment. Do the recall and fuel and everything, all those checks. Okay, cool. Now what we'll do we have everything set there? That's fine. So we'll actually call in GSX. And we will request the boarding.
Boarding requested.
And we will go with Virgin Australia. And how accurate will this be? And this is default. Oh god, this is default scenery as well. And I haven't connected to VATSIM yet, but I'll jump on there in a second when I just verify that nobody's on my stand.
Do you want a board crew?
Let's just say we're already on, and the crew's already on, so we're 20 minutes away from departure, roughly, so let's just say crew, pilots, both, nobody.
Passengers boarding starting.
So now the passengers are boarding. Where will that bus come from? And will it be Virgin Australia specific trucks? Oh, that is pretty cool. Virgin Australia trucks, tugs, steps, mad. They're going in the jetway, that is sick. Okay, I'm just going to go and grab pen and paper, just because I might need it in case controllers come online and they give me specific clearances, altitudes and stuff, but yeah, we'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, I am back. That didn't take as long. Okay, while that's all happening there, I'm just going to jump back inside here and just see if there's anything else that needs to be done. There's actually much more to be done than I remembered. including, let me just see, there was one thing I had to do while I was out here, which is kick off SimToolkitPro. So that is now connected. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm on the VATSIM network. And I'm not going to pre-file it yet. I'm going to do that with vPilot. So I'm just going to use this to track the flight. So that's cool. It's saying I haven't pre-filed my plan yet. Oh, it'll actually tell you which controllers are online. We can see there's one online in Auckland. That's pretty cool. There's a person coming in to Sydney on approach at the moment, it looks. Oh, sorry. Are they on approach? Yeah, they are. Okay, so vPilot, I'm going to connect to the network because I'm just looking at the app there on my phone. It doesn't look like there's anybody. Sydney, there's 3 flights inbound for, what do we have? 5 inbound, that'll be a while though. But I think I'm the only one departing. So I'm going to go and use vPilot here. Just bring this over, connect to the network. And we're velocity 870. I don't actually know. I have to check if there's another velocity 870, but let's see if it'll work. Okay, connected. That's kind of it, really. Flight plan. Going to fetch. How can we load this here now? So. Okay, I'm going to go back into the cockpit because I think it's on mode C. I'm actually going to turn this off, standby, and we're going to go so not alt off, we're going to go standby, which is fine. And we're just going to go reconnect there again because I actually filed the wrong flight plan. Okay, so flight plan successfully fetched, and that's the wrong one, so I'll actually just have to go to Simbrief and free file on a network. VATSIM, prefile. Yeah, I forgot how much there was to this actually. It's my first time properly doing it. Okay, boarding completed, that's fine. So the VATSIM flight plan looks good here. Arrival YMML, alternate is Adelaide, altitude is 38,000 feet, It looks like we're south over Wollongong. Class C, and then remarks. I'm just going to go. I don't know. Newbie in the comments. So voice chat, file plan. Enjoy your flight. Cool. And back down to vPilot, and then flight plan. Fetch from server. That looks good, and that's the time in Zulu. Looks good. Okay, so our local time here is 7:07, so we're actually not going to do fueling like that. We're just going to go straight to our flight plan, and we're going to just put in the fuel, and we're going to get on the road. So I'm actually just going to move down here, and we're going to set up the init ref. There's a good bit now we've got to do here. So we are at Yankee Sierra Sierra Yankee, and those positions align. Take the left-hand GPS. And if anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, the only time you need to actually let people know, so I'm actually going to move over onto Unicom now, which is 122.8, which is the frequency that you should be on if there's no traffic, essentially, or no controllers online, sorry. And this is the frequency that everybody communicates on then. So this will take a bit of getting used to, just, you know, working with the comms and being on the correct comm frequency and stuff. So we can see here 122.8 is selected, so we might start hearing people as they get closer to us, which is cool. And then we're going to Yankee Mike and Lima, and we are I'm just going to put, well, Velocity 870 is our call sign. Well, it's our call sign and it's our flight number, I suppose. Let's just keep it simple for today. And then our routes page. So this is, I suppose, where it's actually going to get a little bit. Well, we're actually just going to have to review everything here before we move off block. So we're on the 16 right departure, or the 16 right runway. Dina 7 departure, transition Wool VOR, which is Wollongong, down around here. So it's a relatively straightforward departure going by that there. Obviously we need to look at the charts, which are down here. So and yeah, Sydney, I suppose, being one of the biggest airports to fly out of, as well as first couple of times you're flying in and out of Sydney, it's going to be pretty full on, especially when it gets a little bit later in the evening. I've observed a couple of hours here on VATSIM, and it can get pretty interesting. Okay, so we're basically going to be coming down probably Charlie, Bravo, and then Bravo 2. So not going to be a super complicated taxi, we're not going to overcomplicate it. Could even go down to Golf and then Bravo, which is fine. And I'm pretty sure with VATSIM, like I was saying earlier, when you're on Unicom, you're just supposed to make your intentions known to the people that are on the network as well. So there's no, I suppose, people crossing over each other on taxiways, or. But I'm sure the more that I do this, that all these things will kind of click into place. So the departure is essentially southbound departure towards Dunes, Dina, Campy, and then south towards Wollongong over the Wool VOR. And then Cadam and Richmond transitions, that's northbound, and westbound you need to satisfy this constraint here, which we don't. So this seems pretty straightforward to us. We're probably just going to follow this departure. There doesn't seem to be any altitude restrictions, except you cannot turn left, obviously, because of the 16 left runway. And the usual restriction then, maximum 250 knots below 10,000, which is fine. And a transition altitude of 10,000 feet, which is good. And then the arrival into Melbourne. Looks like we'll be on the 27 arrival, potentially. Or sorry, the 16 arrival. Okay, so we've got two here, depending on, I suppose, what is required wind-wise. They could have us on either of the approaches, open-ended. I think this is probably what this means. Straight into 16 or else 09. And then you can just delete whichever one you don't need. But is it the same? Horus, Enseg, Nefer. Horus, Enseg, Nefer. Yep, basically. Okay, cool. So we'd probably wait and see what's the active runway as we get closer. Okay. But our active runway, I think here in our flight plan, is saying runway 16. So we're going to assume runway 16. We'll check winds and stuff, but yeah. Okay, that is fine. That all looks good. So we'll do our departure arrival. So we're going to be departing 16 right. The music has stopped, so let's just fire up something else. Nice. Okay, so we are going via the Dina 7 departure, the Dina 7 SYD over the Wool transition, 16 right. That is all good. Dunes, Dina, Campy, Wool, which is accurate. And then to Wool NB. Close that for the time being. Actually, we probably needed that. I'll bring that back up. Ah, very cool. There's a new little thing now here in SimToolkitPro. When you pop it out, it splits the the OFP, the flight plan, into all of the sections. So you can just pop to it every section you need. Very nice. Unfortunately, when you pop it out, it doesn't have that. But that's very nice. Okay, routing. Let us go to okay, so the route, I'm actually going to move this over here, minimize, it's the alternate, and then the routing here is the Dina 7 to Wool, and then we're going to go Hotel 65. Okay, I wonder, that's Wool NB. Will Hotel 65 work? Not in database. Interesting. So Dina 7 Wool to Wool NB. I wonder if Razzie is the next point. We're just going to do a direct Razzie, and then we're going to go Quebec 29er to Lizzie. Relatively straightforward flight plan here. And then the Lizzie 9 Alpha arrival. And then we've got multiple approaches here for whichever Lizzie 9 Alpha runway we want, and it's runway 16, so we're going to go Lizzie 9 Alpha 16 for the approach, and we're going to go with the ILS. Still have to. Yeah, I see we're being asked for which approach we want. So the ILS Yankee, and then there's an ILS Zulu. And I'm not 100% sure what the difference is. If anybody can enlighten me, that would be brilliant. Any restrictions on minimums or anything? I mean, they look, distances are slightly different. Like you've got 1 mile, 0.7, decision altitude for the ILS is 640. Much the same really. I'm just going to go Yankee. That is good. And with no transition. It's all good. So let's just have a quick look at that. Get the brightness up a small bit, and go on to plan mode and legs step. So we've got this an altitude restriction here of 530 feet, and make our right hand turn down to Campy and then right towards Wollongong. Everything looks good there. Direct to Razzie, Tanta, Rumi. That all looks good. And then as we get towards Melbourne, we've got some restrictions. by the looks of it. So MaxL restriction at 9,000 or above after Lizzie, and then Horus 9,000 or below, correct. NSEG 230 knots, it has to be 230, 5,000 or above, which is correct. We're stepping on, and that all looks good here. So anyway, Nefer below 6,000 or above 4,100. Okay. Belta is next, max 185 and 3,000 or above, which makes sense to me because that'll probably be the start of your ILS to descent. And then Okmel 2240, and then runway 16 at 484, which makes sense because I think the decision altitude was 680, so 200 feet say. And a missed approach, climb runway heading 160 and maintain 4,000 feet. That all looks good. So activate, execute. Okay, flight plan is done. Weights and balances, I suppose, and fueling will be next, but let's just go back into it. And actually, let's just put in the fuel. And the fuel we'll have today will be 7,500 kilos. Not a huge amount. And will we do baggage? Payload? What do we have? Does it say? Oh, that's in another... Yeah, the load sheet. Just gonna move this over here. Payload. Packs 121. And it doesn't say the split, so let's just say first is generally always full. So let's take that off and it'll be 109 economy. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm gonna go leave this. It's generally a full flight, but I'm just gonna go 109 in economy just to satisfy this. Load level 86%. I mean, it's generally going to be full, Sydney, Melbourne. And then cargo 3,000 kilos. So we're just going to go 1,500 in each. Load level 65%. Block fuel is good. Okay, so what we can do now, I suppose, now that we've got the fuel in, we can actually start proceeding on with a little bit more of our checklist. So I'm going to disconnect the ground power once I get the APU on. So left aft fuel pump on, and let us get the APU started. Let's get some lights on here as well. The APU should start to be kicking on here. Low oil pressure, which is good. Pretty sure you can hear it. There we go. Let's get the center panel lights on. Okay, APU is start and monitor. So our cost index, as far as I'm aware, was 10. But let's... Yep, cost index of 10. The reserves as 1.0. 0 fuel weight. Cruising altitude is 38,000 feet. And a transition altitude of 10,000. Top cruise wind is 270 at 042. And the N1 limit. Now let's go back down, and I'll go to the ATIS in a sec actually, because we didn't get any altitudes or not altitudes, temps, pressures or anything like that yet. Well, I suppose we could do the ATIS now. I mean, we should be doing the ATIS at the start, but 11855. Unless is there a different ATIS you contact for when you're on VATSIM?
H1022. On first contact with Sydney ground or approach, notify receipt of information Bravo. Time check 0118.
Okay, information Bravo.
Sydney terminal information Bravo. Expect instrument approach. Runway 16 left and right for arrivals and departures. Independent parallel departures in progress. Wind 170 degrees, 17 knots. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers. Clouds scattered 1,700 feet. Temperature 19er. QNH 1022. On first contact with Sydney ground or approach, notify receipt of information Bravo.
Okay.
Time check 0119.
Back onto Unicom. It was 1022 barrel pressure, which is good. And let me just go back now to the. Just gonna go over here to the performance tool because PMDG still do not have any FB, which is just an absolute joke. But I mean, hey, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit crazy. Temperature 19er, QNH 1022. Optimum takeoff. We're gonna do flap 5. It was interesting actually. I think it was 737NG driver made the point that you could do a flap 1 or a flap 5 takeoff, but flap 5 is nearly always recommended because the extra ground clearance, the extra tail clearance is so much more with a flap 5 takeoff than it is with a flap 1 takeoff, so the chances of tail strikes are much less with flap 5, and the benefit is much there's not much benefit from going flap 1, so you might as well just go flap 5. So, yeah. So 63,200. Is our takeoff weight. Oh, a bit of a cold here, a bit of a head cold. Okay, so we're going to do a cell temp takeoff, assume temperature takeoff. Got quite a long runway here. 45 degrees. And it is derated 22k takeoff. Climb to sufficient performance, 88.3 N1. It's saying 87.5 in the takeoff tool, that's fine. Flap 5. Trim 5.36 and V1 139 is fine. Rotate at 139, it's also fine, and V2 at 143 is also fine. So I think that's it. Execute, we've got purple lines, that all looks good. That was another thing before, I was doing a flight, forgot to execute the plan, so flight directors and everything weren't following the route because I hadn't executed it, it wasn't actually in the plan, so yeah. Okay, so we'll go APU gens on. Off the ground power, and we can disconnect the ground power now. PMDG setup, no. FS actions, ground services, release the ground power. So we've got everything pretty much disconnected, I feel. And I think the last thing to do would probably just be to push back, maybe notify. Oh, do we have? We've got tower 120.5. Fantastic. Okay, let's see if the push to talk clearance is working, but we've done everything, so he's just going to clear us, I assume, but we'll still have to get that clearance, so. So we'll request the clearance, then we request push and start, then we request taxi, that's basically it, so. I think that's kind of it really. APU gens are on, let's get the APU bleeds on, let's just get everything else set up here first. Get some aircon in here. And the PAX will be auto ISO valve open. And then PAX can go to auto. And ISO valve is still open, that's fine.
Corner 432, Sydney Tower.
Seeing if that Qantas 432 is around, but I can't actually see it on the map. I'm looking at a map here, VATSIM on my phone, but
Target HX 7433, RLS 16 right, 11 miles.
GSX 7433, Sydney Tower, good morning. Continue approach.
Just waiting to see what they're going to do, but I think we're just going to go for it. So
GSX 7433, runway 16 right, cleared to land.
16 right, clear to land, GSX 7433.
Sydney Tower, good morning, velocity 870, have information Bravo, request IFR clearance to Melbourne.
Velocity 870, good morning, you're cleared to Melbourne via Wollongong, flight plan direct. Runway 16 right, Dina 7 departure, Wollongong transition, climb by SYD 5000, squawk 3715, departures Unicom 122 decimal 8.
Velocity 870, cleared southbound via the Dina 7 departure over the Wollongong transition, climb to 5000, squawk 3715.
Velocity 870, thanks.
Okay, so we've got our altitude clearance. Whew! It's a lot of information to get there when they're reading back. I suppose, look, it's my first time as well, so okay, cleared basically as we are. Gonna dial in that altitude there now. So cleared 5000, and we can squawk 3715. And everything else, I'm going to put in our 143. Okay, so it's probably a good time the music cut out actually, because it's going to start kicking off here now. So we've got set the FMC, obtain clearance. We've got the altimeter set, transponder set, fueling, loading and boarding is completed. Takeoff data is set on the MCP and in the FMC. Takeoff data is set. Cruise altitude pressurization panel. So we're going to set that to 38,000 feet. And landing altitude pressurization panel, which was 500. MCP is set. Flight directors on. Radio frequency set. Doors closed. Alright, we're gonna go FS actions, ground services, chocks away. Back to the FMC, init ref. Okay, so chocks are away. We've probably just got, yeah, there he is coming into land. So he'll be getting the vacate there now soon. And we're going to be pushing and starting, so we're going to get our anti-collision lights are on, that's off. Doors are closed, ground equipment is Clear, chocks removed, request push and start. So I'm actually going to go GSX. And prepare for pushback and departure.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Six 7433 vacates Alpha 4 for the Northern International Cargo Desk.
GSX 7433, taxi Alpha, cross 25, Alpha to the bay.
Alpha cross 25, Alpha to the bay, GSX 7433, yep.
I don't know what it's doing here now. Sydney Tower velocity at 70, request push and start.
Velocity 870, pushback approved.
Pushback approved, velocity 870. Okay, so we didn't get a
Release parking brakes, please.
okay, so we didn't get a start clearance. We got a pushback clearance.
Commencing push.
So
All engines clear.
important
Start
distinction.
at will.
Now let's just make sure we're pushing the right direction here. Yeah, looks like we're right. So.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to ask. Maybe it was an implied clearance, but not sure. And I've made this mistake before with real life ATC, so not with engines in a 737, but yeah. Sydney Tower, velocity 87, are we cleared to start engines?
Yeah, velocity 870, start approved, squawk mode Charlie when you can, thanks.
Start approved, we'll squawk there now. Thanks, velocity 870. Okay, we've got our start approved. I think we had to go squawk mode Charlie as soon as we pushed back. But that's fine. Anyway, let's go. Fuel pumps on. I've got anti-collision light is on. All reds are off. Packs off. I wonder if the workload is much lower in the Airbus, because it's so much of it is automated. Anyway, ignition mode selector, that's fine. Both engine 2, start switch. Anyway, fuel pumps are on, packs are off, ignition mode selector both. Engine start switch ground, and then monitor for 25%. Okay, good engine start on 1. Good engine start 2, starting 1. Just checking the FPS there. I'm not sure if this overlay pops up in the recording, but 30 FPS, not bad. 32. Wonder what traffic route he's going to give us. Golf Bravo probably. What's this flickering? It's very annoying. White flickering. Okay, 2 good engine starts. We're going to go generators 1 and 2 are on. I'm just going to follow up with GSX. Confirm good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Generators 1 and 2, engines 1 and 2 start switches continuous. Probe heats on. Wing and engine anti-ice, we're above 10 degrees, so that's fine. Engine 1 and 2 bleeds are on. Packs auto. Recirc auto. APU bleed off.
Unlocking gear.
Then flaps, we're gonna go flap 5.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
Elevator trim was 5.36 units. Elevator trim is set. Flight controls. We're going to change this to full forward, full back, full left, full right, and we've got full rudder deflection. That's good. Flight controls full and free, engine instruments checked, LNAV, VNAV armed as required. We're going to go auto throttle armed. And warning recall is checked and clear. Taxi lights can come on. And auto brake set RTO, which is set. And we're good to go essentially. Now we just have to make sure we taxi down the right way. So we're expecting Charlie 2 Bravo or Charlie maybe Golf Bravo, hold short runway 16 right. Sorry there, they're all over the place. Okay. Sydney Tower velocity 870, ready for taxi.
Velocity 870, thanks. Taxi Charlie 2, Bravo, Bravo 2 holding point, runway 16 right.
Taxi to 16 right via Charlie 2 Bravo, hold short at Bravo 2, velocity 870. Charlie 2, Bravo, and Bravo 2, gotcha. Okay, so let's do our takeoff config. Takeoff config is clear. Let's go to Melbourne. Gonna have to start doing more flights around Australia because we've got controllers online now. We just have to make sure we taxi the right way. So
target agent Golf FA2 shortly turning final runway 16 right.
Charlie 2.
532, thanks. Sydney Tower, good afternoon.
Be a bit more careful there on the throttle. So Charlie 2 is right, essentially, I think. And I think this is Bravo here on the right. We're on... Yeah, I could have gone straight across. I think I kind of messed up there a little bit, but could I have gone through here? Yeah, I could have. Anyway, Bravo 2 is where I'm looking at. Got approach controller now on as well, it's pretty cool. Okay, I get the parking brake on. Pre-departure have to hold fuel flow, reset, then rate. V speeds are checked, MCP navigation data, radios are we're all set here, and then that's fine. I think there might be somebody coming in here, but we'll be good in a second. Sydney, tower velocity 870, holding short at Bravo 2, runway 16 right, ready for takeoff.
Velocity 870, thanks. Your number 1 for departure, just for your references, departure's now 124.4.
Need just off 532.
Just off 532, thanks. Runway 16 right, clear to land.
16 right, clear to land, just off 532.
One 124.4, let's get that plugged in, because we'll be over to departures, who will be clearing us. 124.4.
Velocity 870, runway 16 right, line up and wait.
Line up and wait. Velocity 870. I didn't even see that aircraft come in there. Nice. Transponders on, traffic on, TARA set, position lights, strobe and steady.
Velocity 870, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, velocity 870.
Jetstar 532, welcome to Sydney. Do you have a bay of preference?
Gate 58, Jetstar 532.
Stabilizing.
Jetstar 532, taxi Bravo, cross 25.
Auto throttle disconnect.
Hello, Helitech 203 with on the runway 25, short final for the helipad one there.
Checked.
Helitech 203, good morning. Just caution the 737 on 16 right. Then we'll get your landing clearance shortly.
Caution 73, runway 16 right.
Rotate.
Jetstar 532, taxi Bravo, hold short 25.
Bravo, hold short 25,
Gear up.
Jetstar 532.
Helitech 203, runway 25, cleared to land.
25 cleared to land, and can we get just hover taxi off the 25 threshold to the helipad, so you're going to be just to the left.
Helitech 203, hover taxi approved. Just remain clear from Delta.
Hover taxi approved, we will remain clear of Delta 203.
Jetstar 532 on Bravo, cross 25, Golf, domestic 2 to the bay.
On Bravo, cross 25, Golf 2, domestic 2, Jetstar 532.
Full velocity 870, contact departures, 124 decimal 4, g'day.
Order departures, 124.4, velocity 870. Thanks for your HTC, mate. Cheers. Okay, let's get the autopilot in. LNAV, VNAV, and let's get over to departures. Sydney departures, velocity 870, with you 3,500, climbing 5,000 on the Dina southbound departure, Wollongong transition.
Velocity 870, Sydney departures, g'day, you're identified, climb by the SID flight level 280.
Climb flight level 280, velocity 870. Okay, climbing flight level 280. Bit of a bumpy departure. Anyway, after takeoff, we're now at the up speed, so we're going to start retracting the flaps. We are on LNAV and VNAV. And we can go off. Engine start switches. What is that? Engine start switches off. Auto brake off. Let's just flick over here. Your engine start switches off. Runway turn off lights can come off. Well, that was pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I suppose it's just getting used to actually being on the radio, being familiar with the calls and the process of what to do, but yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. And it's just good having like proper people online on the network with you. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, flaps are retracted up and up, and we're accelerating as normal. That's good. Landing lights can go off at 10,000, and we are pressurizing in the cabin. And everything else looks good. That can go to Gen 1. Heading southbound down over the Sydney coastline. Beautiful. Looks like we've a little bit of weather, a little bit of clouds in ahead of us, just past the Wollongong transition, according to SimToolkitPro. But it will be interesting to see if we actually are impacted by it. Nice rate of climb here as well. We're not super heavy today. 3,200 feet per minute. We're on climb 2 as well. We'll go unrestricted climb now in a minute. Passing flight level 100. Lights can come off. The APU can come off as well. God, we missed that. I was wondering what that light was for, yeah. Slightly more fuel burn there than I would have liked, but yeah. Set standard pressure of flight level 100. Yes, slight extra fuel burn there from the left fuel tank for the APU running, but we're good. And we're going to go unrestricted climb as well here now. What was it? It was delete, I think, wasn't it? Delete climb 2, and this should jump. Yeah. 3,100 feet per minute. Should bump up an extra couple of hundred feet. And we'll probably be directed over to Unicom after Wollongong here, because that will complete the departure. Looks like we've got Melbourne Center online as well, do we? Nice. Yeah, I think we've got Melbourne online, but I'm not sure how that'll play in. It doesn't, like, it looks like it's... Yeah, like Melbourne Center. I might just ask him. Yeah. I don't know, I think flying in this kind of region here anyway, over kind of... you know, over Australia, New Zealand would be good, because I'm gonna get the Phoenix as well, Phoenix A320, because I know a lot of the Jetstar fleet run that, and also Air New Zealand, because I do want to start flying in New Zealand as well. So I mean, look, it makes sense just being with the time zones here for me anyway. I'm in Sydney, so it makes sense to be flying in Sydney time.
Velocity 870, contact Melbourne Center 129 at decimal 8, g'day.
Over to 129.8, velocity 870. Thanks for the ATC, mate. Cheers. To 9.8. .8. That's not showing up in. That's not showing up in vPilot. Anyway, I'm gonna say it. That was good. Radio etiquette to switch first, just to make sure nobody's mid-transmission. Just past the Wollongong, so that makes sense. He's just transferred us over. Melbourne Center, g'day, velocity 870, with you, flight level 230, climbing flight level 280.
Velocity 870, Melbourne Center, g'day, climb flight level 380.
Climb flight level 380, velocity 870. Yeah, you need a pen and paper as well. It's definitely one thing I've realised, because there's a lot of info you need to just be jotting down constantly. You know, squawk codes, altitudes, restrictions, taxiways, new frequencies. Because this frequency isn't in vPilot, so yeah, getting an ident here as well. Bit of a track IR jump there, and I don't even think I'm going to just venture outside of the cabin here. Actually, no. Well, I'm going to do it now. Block your ears. Pretty nice looking sim all the same, isn't it? Pretty amazing. I'm gonna have to get some screenshots there, I reckon, in another video. I'm just gonna have to do something there later on, get some nice screenshots offline, because to be quite honest now, I'm actually just trying to concentrate on the ATC calls and everything else. So I mean, I'm sure, you know, listening to 737 NG pilot, driver, and all the other YouTubers, I mean, it becomes...
Melbourne Center, Kilo, Foxtrot, Oscar, request traffic for the DGA arrival at Cooma Snowy Mountains.
Kilo, Foxtrot, yeah, there's no traffic on the St. Cooma Snowy Mountains. Report on the Guna Cancel Sandwich.
Copy the traffic, Wilco, Kilo, Foxtrot, Oscar.
Okay, so I suppose there's not much else to do really. We could have a look later on, maybe once we reach top of climb we'll start inputting our descent winds. We've already got the approach reference plates up here. More than likely it's going to be a flap 30 landing. I don't see why it would be flap 40, it's not a short runway. Yeah. So I think we've got a little bit of time. But again, I don't actually think PMDG have programmed in the logic of the descent path, the optimal descent path given the headwinds. I mean, I could be wrong, they might have changed a few things, but God, like they really need to get their act together now with this EFB. It's been far too long. You know? anyway, look, probably can get another little bit of this music on in the meantime. Let's see what's got here. And I've got a Stream Deck which allows me to just mute it really quick if I need to, which is very handy actually. Just for these ATC calls, something comes in, I can just go bang, mute, done, easy. But yeah, very nice. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, look, let's just go have a look at our arrival, because I don't want to be caught off guard, I suppose. We don't need this, so I'm just wondering, is there a way of unpinning that? Whereas we do need this. Well, this might all actually depend, like, because if we've got ATC now, and they change us last minute, we're gonna have to make some changes. So, yeah, at the moment we've got everything pre-programmed in, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. But it all looks fine. I mean, the ILS, we haven't had a look at this, but decision altitude 640, we'll get that programmed in later on. Airport elevation is 430, I think we had in 500, so let's just knock that down one. Missed approach, track, runway heading, climb 4000, that's fine. 10,000 transition altitude. HC approach speeds at Delta 185 to 160 knots at 5 nautical miles from the threshold, 160 to 150 knots, which is fine, that's our approach speed anyway. So it looks like it's a stepped. Oh, sorry, localizer out, yeah. Okay. And then the gate. Runway 16, I mean, we look at getting off at Golf. Golf, 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 and then, I mean, yeah, I think it all looks fine. Looks like we do have Melbourne online. YMML we've got. ADIS. By the looks of it, sorry. Yeah, it's literally just come up on vPilot there.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, you dropped off my radar identification services terminated.
Identification services terminated, Kilo Foxtrot Oscar.
And the ADIS for Melbourne. I'm just looking at the app I have here as well in front of me. Approach expected ILS approach runway 16 for arrivals. 1,000 to go checked. Visibility, sorry, wind is 090 to 160 at 5 knots. Visibility greater than 10k. Clouds, few clouds at 3,700 feet. Temperature 17. QNH 1021. Okay, nice. Once we level out here, top of the cruise. Got what, 80, 100 miles roughly, say 120 miles to our top of descent, so I suppose we could start planning our descent. So let's start going, and probably makes more sense actually to pop in the descent route or the descent winds to start. So we've got our descent and speed restriction. I'm going to leave that at 240 at 10,000. No, do you know what? It is 250. So forecasted winds. Transition altitude is 100. Winds we can probably.
Velocity 870, contact me 123.75, expect star clearance.
Velocity 870, I didn't quite catch that, sorry, can you repeat?
Velocity 870, contact me 123.75, expect star clearance.
Contact on 123.75, expect star clearance, velocity 870. See, this is what I mean with the music, man. Jesus, you gotta be... Like, what's 123 decimal... Is this up on vPilot? 12... Nothing here in vPilot, alright. And did he say contact me? 123.75, expect star clearance. One, 123.75. Did he say contact me? Sydney Tower velocity. Not so sure. I think I'm just gonna go Melbourne Center. Melbourne controller, g'day, velocity 870 with you, flight level 380.
Velocity 870 Melbourne Center, g'day, star clearance Lizzie 90 Alpha arrival, runway 16, maintain flight level 380.
Lizzie Alpha, Lizzie Alpha 9 arrival, runway 16, maintain flight level 380, velocity 870.
Melbourne Center, Kilo Foxtrot, Oscar on the ground at Kingston, Kansas.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, Kuma so much, terminates, g'day.
Kilo Foxtrot, Oscar, thanks mate.
Okay, rattled. Wow. Doesn't take you long to be thinking you're fine and then bang, something you weren't expecting. What was it? You gotta make sure you got your plans down. Lizzie 9 Alpha. Lizzie Alpha 9 runway 16. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Alright, we're good. So that was what we were expecting, which is good. We go back to the winds and our descent forecast. Wind info. So it'll probably be 310, 200, 150. What was it? Just pop it out, move it over here, it'll be easier. Scroll all the way down to our descent winds. 350, 310 I suppose. And then 200 and then 100. Just to make sure it's increments of 10 I suppose. 242 at 052. 253 at 030 and 282 at 018. Boom, that is in. The QNH, let me just bring that up on my phone. I mean, doesn't matter a huge amount really, I suppose. Top climb ISAS plus 009. ISA deviation. Is it P009? Is that how you enter it? I can't remember from last time. And then the QNH 1017. Valid entry. I'm gonna leave it. Oh, where did I click requests? It's not gonna have it. Anyway, approach speeds. Might as well do that now. Can I do control 2? We're essentially now maintaining our flight level 380 until we get clearance to descend. And I don't know, do we request? Not sure if we request the descent, but yeah. So YMML, Melbourne International, runway 16. Missed approach, gradient, we're going to go 2.5 degrees standard.
Wallaby 118, contact Brisbane Centre 130.9.
130.9 for Wallaby 118.
Wind is 190 at 7 knots. Temp, it's a 6 knot headwind, 3 knot crosswind, that's fine. Outside.
Brisbane Centre, this is Wallaby 118 with you, flight level 230.
Wallaby 118, Brisbane Centre, get it.
Let's do our landing weight. So our gross, yeah, fuel uplink on ready, that's fine. Message clear. So our gross weight at the moment says 61 tons and we're going to use is that right? So we had 7.5, we're about halfway there. We're going to have 4.4 when we get there. So take off another...
Stations inbound Melbourne, information Oscar is now current winds variable 150 to 220 degrees 7 knots. Cloud view 4000, temperature 18, QNH 102, information Oscar.
Okay, so
GSX 7448 through flight level 200.
GSX 7448, Melbourne Centre, g'day, climb flight level, correction, you've planned for 260, just confirm. GSX 7448, stop climb flight level 260.
Climb flight level 260, GSX 7448.
okay, so what's our expected landing weight? I'm gonna go get the ATIS there in a sec. Oh, I probably don't need ATIS in a second. But information Oscar sounds like it's what we're at. So what was it here? Flight plan, OFP, summary and fuel. Estimated landing weight, yeah, 58.6 estimated. And if we take off another 0.8, sounds about right, so we're just going to say 60. Overestimate slightly, 200 kilos. And the VREF add is 5 knots. Okay, so that's cool. We're going to go auto brake because we said we wanted to get off at Golf rather than Victor. Where's Juliet? There's no Juliet, it's basically Golf. Echo Golf. There's no Echo, unless that's Echo. Not going to be doing that. Oh, that's Echo, sorry. Alright, we can't make Echo unless it's maximum manual braking. We could make Golf if we go auto brake 3, potentially. I'm also just thinking, let's just head down to... Oh yeah, sorry, Juliet is here. Let's go auto brake 2, because auto brake 2 will make Juliet. Okay. Okay. Flaps 30 in the config. There we go. And auto brake 2. Okay, good. Let's just tune the ATIS. let's tune the ATIS when we're descending, just in case we get a clearance to descend while we miss it. But we can tune the ATIS in. It is 118000. I think that all looks okay. I mean, we can do the descent, we can do the approach, get in all the approach frequencies. Localizer 109.
Flight 870 when ready, descend, flight level 250.
When ready to descend, flight level 250, velocity 870. Okay, let's get that descent going. Shallow descent to intercept our path. And should be a shallow 1,000 feet per minute descent. Throttle start coming back. Alright, that's good. Okay, 109.7 in the localizer. Final approach course is 160. Decision altitude is 640. Let's get that dialed up. Okay, so we're 1,000 feet per minute. We're under our path, which is fine. And everything else is okay. See, there's other things now I'm going to have to start learning just in case I'm asked to do these things. So like say I want to put in a hold at Belta. I know it's in here, but you know, functionality I just have to get more familiar with. Hold at Belta done, and I mean, look, it's probably not anything crazy to get used to or whatever, but I mean, if you haven't done it before, it's all relative. Okay, so let's have a look at our checklist real quick. So we haven't got the destination weather yet from ATIS, but it should be fine. Arrival data, landing altitude is checked, radios have been set. Localizer, ILS frequency courses have been set on 1, 2, and the radio is 109.7. Wing and engine anti-ice will not be required. And warning recall checked. Altimeter is 1021. And is set when we get off standard. Approach and missed approach has been briefed. Auto brake 2 as required. Descent checklist complete. Going outside again, outside view. So we've got a, looks like an A380 coming in as well. Not sure where it is. It's a good way away. It's only over WA at the moment still. Western Australia, for those of you who aren't in Australia. Yeah, we've still got a little bit to go. We're kind of halfway there, roughly. But it's going to start getting pretty hectic in a little bit. Well, maybe not, because I'm the only one inbound that's going to be landing there any time soon, so yeah. Still well below our path, which is fine. Wrong one.
And Brisbane Centre, Qantas 904 with you on climb flight level 240 for 28.
Qantas 904, Melbourne Centre, correction, Brisbane Centre, g'day, climb flight level 370.
Climb flight level 370, Qantas 904.
It kind of would make more sense to have the charts window here, so for some reason I just don't really like it. I don't know why, but let's try and get used to it maybe. Kind of, does it obstruct the view a bit more? Not really. I mean, it is kind of more out of the way over here, just with this window and stuff.
GSX 7448, just let's stay 10 minutes away.
GSX 7448, sorry, say again?
I just request 10 minutes away.
7448, no worries, that's great.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. The Melbourne Center. They've got a good few frequencies showing here. Extending ARL. BIK, ELW, HUZO, TBD, BKE. Oh, I wonder are they controlling all en route in Australia? I'm gonna have to look that up. ELW, that's what I'm on apparently at the moment, so you have to contact you, yeah. Maybe, is that who he told me to contact? ELW? Yeah, can't remember. Yeah, okay, so our approach path now is kind of coming back at us. Looks these way over the snowy mountains.
Melbourne Center, Brisbane Center, this is Wallaby 118.
Wallaby 118, Brisbane Center, welcome back.
Roger, thank you. Sorry, had a complete simulator crash, had to restart. I'm roughly in the same location, so if you can recall me to the rest of the route, I'll go direct from this point to Tamworth and then remainder of Starplant route.
Wallaby 118, alright, swap 6026.
6026, Wallaby 118.
So 3,000 at Delta. Aircraft may be radar vectored to final or join procedure off star prior to
Melbourne Center, Kilo, Foxtrot, Oscar, IFR Seminole. Taxiing runway 17 Essendon for Essendon, 1 POB.
Kilo, Foxtrot, Oscar, Squawk 3220, no report on for traffic, runway 17, report at the holding point for airways clearance.
Squawk 3220, and we'll call back at the holding point 17. Kilo, Foxtrot, Oscar.
Thousand to go. Probably be expecting further clearance shortly after this, even though we're still below our approach.
118, Brisbane Centre identified cleared to Amberley by 10 west flight plan route flight level 230.
Cleared to Amberley by Tamworth, flight level 230, Wallaby 118.
And here comes our approach, our descent path we've just blown through. Just gonna give it another minute or two.
Brisbane Centre, good day, just direct 10, climb flight level 280.
Just at 810 Brisbane Centre, get a climb flight level 370.
Climb flight level 370, just direct 10.
Plus the A70 descend, via star 9000, Melbourne QNH1020.
Descent flight level 9000 QNH 1020, velocity 870. Level change, let's go get it. We've got a slight QNH change, so down to 1020 and down to 9000. 3,500 feet above our approach path, it's fine. Let a lot of speed off, so we should be able to catch it. Alright, it's going to start picking up now, but and we're going to hit the speed right back up. Steady at 250 first, then we can always increase it because we're going down now at a rate of pretty insane rate of descent, nearly 5,000 feet per minute, so we'll definitely catch it. And it'll start pulling back about here.
Brisbane Centre, g'day. Jetstar 802 is with you for 340.
Just 802 Melbourne, correction Brisbane Centre, g'day, short 6, correction, 3605.
Stalk 3605, Jetstar 802.
So where are we going to reach 9,000? We're going to reach it out here. So we need to be out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the speed out again, another 20 knots. We also have to be under 250 at 10,000, so...
Melbourne Centre, Kilo Foxtrot Oscar is at holding point Tango, runway 17, requesting airways clearance.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, cleared to Essendon via Melbourne, flight plan trips. Essendon 8 departure, climb flight seat 5,000, assigned heading right 270 degrees, runway 17, you can report airborne.
cleared by the Essendon flight plan route. Essendon 8 departure, climb by the SYD 5000 and right heading 270 Kilo Foxtrot Oscar.
Just going to get ahead of this, so when it needs the speed back, we're not going to be busting our altitude. But it's 9,000 or above; it's not below, so it should still be fine.
Just 802, Brisbane Center identified, cleared to Adelaide via VGUT flight plan route, maintain flight level 340.
Cleared Adelaide via VGUT plan route, maintain level 340.
And we're back on our plan, so we can go back into VNAV.
Center Kilo Foxtrot Oscar. Quick question, did I need to get takeoff clearance from you at Essendon or?
Negative, you can report airborne.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, thanks.
Just using the speed brake to get us down to 250 knots or thereabouts, just so we can stay on our planned descent path. Once the engine starts spooling up again a small bit. Start retracting the speed brake now. Wonder will he get us to change frequency? $9,000 or below at Horus, so we should be fine. We're still below the flight plan. We're on VNAV, LNAV, good.
Melbourne Center Kilo Foxtrot Oscar is airborne, Essendon, climbing by the SYD, passing 1,204, 5,000, to a right heading of 1270 Kilo Foxtrot Oscar.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, Melbourne Center identified, position 6 miles to the southeast of Melbourne, to resume navigation to right direct Melbourne flight plan route. Maintain 5,000.
Resume navigation direct Melbourne via flight plan route at 5,000 Kilo Foxtrot Oscar.
Yeah, it's basically planning, it's going to be 9,000 around here roughly. If it's before it, then fine, but here is where it's supposed to be. Okay, so we're pretty close. Let's overlay the data just so we can have it in front of us. Coming up to our 10 checks. We do our frisk checks as well. We didn't get in our fix rings. Runway 16 and /4 /10. So frequencies set, fixed rings, radios are set, 10 checks, lights coming on.
Brisbane Centre,
Setting
Qantas
standard.
904, I think I'm with you for like another 20 nautical miles. Are we right to change Unicom 122 display?
Qantas 904, no worries, let me control this race control, and identification says it's doing that for extra gender approach, now.
Alright, cheers mate, thanks, good day.
They speak so fast, it's actually mental. Okay, we're at 9,000 set. Not really going to be in VNAV here now, I suppose, so what we probably should do is go alt hold. Still lateral navigation, but we do need speeds 230 at NSEG, which is up here, so we'll just dial it back to 230 and then 185 at Delta. That's fine. Don't be thinking I'll be needing the speed brake now, so we can arm the speed brake. Speed brake armed. Gonna get ahead of a few other things. Gonna go engine start switches continuous.
Velocity 870, descend by star to 4,000, runway 160, speed dollars to brake.
Send 4,000 feet, velocity 870. Did he say expect ILS approach? I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure that's what he said. What else would he be saying?
Velocity 870, descend by star 3,000 from Baltic, cleared ILS, runway 16.
Send 3,000 feet for Delta, cleared ILS, runway 16, velocity 870. Okay, cleared for the ILS. Nav course and frequencies are checked. Speeds are within limits. We're going to start bleeding back the speed to the up speed. We'll actually start getting our speed brake out now just to help us. Actually, we did need the speed brake. We'll get some flaps out in a second. And we're going to go speed check, flap 1.
GSR 810, control and identification services terminate frequency 10 degrees south.
Uniform, good day, just the right time.
GSR 802, no further ATC monitoring, and I'm 1.
Speed check, flap 2.
128, Jetstar 802, thanks.
And flap 5.
Number 7, Jetstar 664, request airways clearance to Ayers Rock as well.
GSR 664, I'm closing short logger, clearance. Clear to Ayers Rock via Kappa flight plan routes, runway 1, correction 27. Kappa 2 departure, climb by 5000, squawk 4730, departure to Unicom.
Okay, so the banana looks good.
See that, just for your info, we're going to be taking 16. And just confirm the scorecard again.
I wonder if he jumped online because of me. Like when they see people that are coming online that are en route, do they want to do the whole thing? That'd be pretty cool.
Just 664, squawk 4730.
Roger, clear to Ayers Rock via Kappa plane route, Kappa 2 departure, runway 16, 5000 and squawk 4730, just 664.
Idents still aren't
654.
up. 109.
70 runway 16, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 16, velocity at 70.
Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, monitoring Unicom 122.8 south.
1228, Kilo Foxtrot Oscar, thanks mate.
Stations Melbourne Center now closed, monitoring Unicom 122.8 south.
109.7, we're going to go approach mode. 4 lock captured.
2500.
Speed brake in. And we're going to go speeds down for flap 5. Speed brake armed. 2500 checks. Runway in sight, expecting the glide slope capture in a second. Feet on the pedals. Passing the 10-mile ring. Once you hit the glide slope, we're going to go gear down flap 15. We've got our landing clearance. Taxiway light can come on. Glide slope intercept. Gear down flap 15. Okay, speed brake armed. Got gear down, auto brake 2. Missed approach altitude, 4,000 feet set. Gonna go flap 25, flap 30. And our approach speeds 143. BREF. Okay, Spoilers armed, gear down, flaps extended, green light, gear down, 3 green. Engine mode start switches continuous, landing lights on, clearance received, landing checklist complete.
1,000.
Checked. Okay, I'm going to take over. Autopilot, auto throttle disconnect, my aircraft. On the ILS indicators, PAPIs are looking good. Speeds are slightly above ref. Checked. Continue.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, spoilers up, reversers engaged. Decel. $80 knots. Issue with reverser 1 there a while ago. And 60 knots. Reverser stowed. Manual braking. Auto brakes disarm. Gonna roll and exit at Juliet. And welcome to Melbourne. Melbourne Center, velocity 870, vacated via Juliet, request taxi to parking. And looks like controllers have gone offline. So we've got them for the vast majority of it, pretty much all of it, which is great. So let's switch to Unicom. 122.8. Actually, I'll just switch this one here. So I'm on Unicom, so velocity at 70, vacated runway 16 at Juliet, taxiing to parking. I'm just going to go Juliet Sierra. Okay, so after landing, clean up, we're going to go flaps up. Speed brake is up. Auto brake, disarm. Engine start switches off, landing lights can go off. Runway turn off, lights off, taxi lights are on. Position lights steady. APU on. Start and bleed. Probe heats off. And let's go. Now GSX, let us select parking. What do we have here? Taxi. Parking bays. Domestic. God. 55 Bravo? Like what's... Maybe that's why I had it over here. I'm gonna go Alpha. Or maybe there's not Alpha, is there? No Alpha, I'll go Bravo. Yeah, I might look at this in a minute. Anyway, let's just get going. Park and brake off. I'm gonna have to buy Melbourne Airport because this is pretty sparse. Taxiway Alpha. We'll go Taxiway Alpha. Will we just do the follow me car? I think that's what we might do. There's a Jetstar guy there. Is that golf? We try golf? Right, that makes sense why that's not... Yeah. We're looking at Sydney, oh god. Parking bays. So we're on Alpha. This is, yeah, so we could go Golf, Foxtrot, Echo. Echo 8. We could go Golf. Yeah, that works. Golf 48. Okay, we're requesting a follow me. That looks pretty good. Is that it? Oh, Golf. What's this one? Echo. We could go Echo instead. Revoke follow me. Let's park next to the Jetstar, why not? Sorry, no, this is taking a bit of time, but let's... Parking bays. This is the joys of it. Let's Golf. Foxtrot 18. Let's go F18. Too small. F13, maybe? F12. What's that Jetstar on? F12. Could do F12. Vehicle has been dispatched, on the way. That it? Okay, follow me has arrived. Let's go. Does it actually say something as well, doesn't it? Does it say? That's pretty cool. So I thought it was in the corner. It is in the corner. Fantastic. Going up to our Jetstar buddy. I mean, GSX is pretty good. Like, it was a bit buggy, but I mean, look. Like, I don't know, is that actually just random traffic or is that us as well? But Melbourne is an airport I'm going to have to buy. And we'll maybe redo this flight going out of Melbourne to Sydney next time. No, it's saying F12 we go. Oh yeah, so it's this one here, but right. That's fine. Now, how accurate will it be? It should be pretty accurate because it's the default airport, but okay, parking brakes set. APU on the bus. 2 blues, 1 red. Engine's dead. And we just wait for N2 now to drop below 20% before cutting for turning off the beacon. %, beacon off, strobes off, wheel well lights can go on, and there we go. We get the chocks in. Successful flight for the first one. Very happy with that. Yeah, of course. I wonder if that's an actual person, and is it just getting the aircraft wrong? Yeah, it's somebody pushing back. Don't think they're on Unicom though. Anyway, after shutdown checklist, fuel control levers off, anti-collision lights are off, ground equipment. We will now get in position, request ground power. Fuel pumps, 1, 2, 3 can come off. We forgot to turn off the taxi light as usual. Window heats will come. Well, the window heats will stay on. I'll leave everything as configured because when I'm doing the flight back to Sydney next time, we'll be taking it up from here. So ground power is connected. Ground power available. Ground power is on. Boom. The APU can come off, saving some fuel. APU bleed off. ISO valve open. And fuel pumps off. Flight directors off. Recycle them. Off, off, off. And we're going to reset this altitude back to 0. Speeds back to 0. Should have gone TARA off. standby. Gonna go standard, reset everything, 200. And that all looks good to me. We'll just kick off the GSX deboarding.
The boarding requested.
And enjoy it. Enjoy the fruits.
Traffic, it's 664, type A320, taxiing at Melbourne, runway 16, Kepler departure. Runway 16, Melbourne traffic.
That's pretty cool.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Yeah, so there we go. I'll wait till that Jetstar kind of comes up behind us and maybe he's like taxiing out here or something, just for a nice little screenshot. On he goes. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice flight. Wasn't too long. That's the beauty, I suppose, of Australia. There's all the flights are relatively short, and it's always got good air traffic control coverage, and it does give us the option and the opportunity as well to fly across the pond over to New Zealand, and the expandability, I suppose, of flying the A320s, the Phoenix A320. I really want to get into that because that opens up, you know, the Aer Lingus routes then as well back home in Ireland and across the pond over there. So lots of flexibility and yeah, good routes, good ATC coverage and VATSIM. Pretty happy with how that went actually. It wasn't as, once you kind of get over that initial mic fright, and that's actually the term for it, I feel like everything, I mean, you kind of just have to jump in, don't you? Like you're gonna mess up at some points, you know, but it's all part of it, and you know, thinking that you're not going to be good enough, you can't let that hold you back, I suppose, and I'd probably let that hold me back now for a little while in terms of this. Jesus, getting very philosophical here now, but other things in life as well, but it's just a lesson for life, isn't it? You just kind of have to jump in and go for it. Yep, okay, so I suppose that's it. We'll end the video here, and the next one we'll jump on VATSIM again, second flight on VATSIM next time, Melbourne back to Sydney. And yeah, I suppose, yeah, look, if you've watched this, and yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments that you'd like to leave on the video, throw them down in the comment section. I do read them all and I do appreciate all the comments and stuff, so I know I'm only a small channel, but just trying to put something out there and, you know, start a little vibe here going on this channel and give back to the flight sim community, I suppose, because I've gotten so much out of creators over the years, so I feel like I'm in a bit of a spot where I can put my own little spin on things. So, and yeah, look, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you again in the next one. Cheers, good luck.